Welcome to Camp Cookout Adventures. Join me for a night of wild camping in an old disused Cornish slate quarry. We're going to cook up some delicious food. We're going to have a great time alongside a really cool camp. Let's do this.
It's Camp Cookout Adventures. It's Camp Cookout Adventures.
So how are we all doing? It's been a minute since our last adventure. And I'm delighted to be able to get out once again for a camp. I've had a really busy couple of weeks in the new job as we've been tearing out the workshop and installing a brand new mezzanine floor. So a lot of steel work going up. It's been very busy and very labor intensive, but we're getting there. And I finally found a free evening in this stunning location to organize a camp. So we are in a disused slate quarry in the north coast of Cornwall, just overlooking the ocean, and we are scouting for the perfect camping spot for tonight. Let's see what we can find. Check this out, mooching around, we've got parts of a gravestone here. Elizabeth Slowly died January 30th, 1925. Goodness me, I mean, there's a pile of stuff here. I've got no idea how long that thing's been sitting there. The lady died in 1925, so kind of why isn't it in a graveyard? It's a mystery. Now I'm kind of torn as to where to go. There's this beautiful wooded area behind me, which looks incredibly inviting and very like kind of peaceful and intimate and quiet. Or there's up the quarry face up there, where I'll get an elevated view of not only the coastline, but hopefully a really good sunset tonight. So I'm kind of thinking of going up there, to be fair. This view is just absolutely stunning. If you look down there along that coastline, hopefully you guys can make it out. But way over there on the very point, believe it or not, that's the Rumps and the island of the Moors. If you've watched my third adventure video when we make a Philly cheesesteak sandwich in the back of my Chevy pickup, that's the location all the way down there on the coast. We've been blessed with fantastic weather, which is much needed. It's been such a long time where we've just had rain and washout. It's been cold and windy and horrible. So I'm so excited to get a camp out tonight. It's going to be great. Still not quite found the right spot yet though. Let's keep searching. I think I found my spot. It's quite rocky, but it is a quarry. And at the end of the day, tonight I'm going to try out a new camping cot bed. So I should be elevated off the floor. Here we are, I found it. The perfect spot. Oh, it's going to be so good. It's actually relatively flat here as well, which is awesome. I dumped that massively heavy thing down. But we got a clear view at the ocean and the sunset. And that's what it's all about. This is going to be lush. I've got all of these little outcrops of stone, all of this slate and shillet, and then stacked ready for selling many years ago, but obviously it never happened. We got to get the tent set up, and then we got to have a look at how this new stove works. I'm very excited. Let's go. Tonight we're going to use my Long Geek teepee tent, and if you want to see the full setup video for this particular teepee tent, go and check out my Adventure 7 video. Ta-da! Oh, if only it worked like that. Oh, yeah. I'm done. So I have a lot of luxuries with me tonight, seeming as it's been so long since I was able to come out and have a bit of a play, in case it gets chilly in the night, which I don't think it will, because today has been 18 degrees, but felt more like 25, considering how bad the weather's been. I've got my titanium Winterwell backpacking stove. which marries up with this tent perfectly. Inside it's got a cross-cut stove jack, so you can pop your chimneys straight up through the tent. It's magic. Again, check out that previous video if you want to see the hot tent in action. But in order to get a comfier night's sleep tonight, knowing that I was going to be camping in a rock quarry, I've got myself this Kingcamp sleeping cot. It's brand new in the bag. Let's see if it's easy to set up. This will keep me elevated off the floor and give me a nice springy surface, hopefully mega comfortable. So in the bag we have a load of these legs by the looks of things. Yeah, 4 of those bad boys. We got this. Okay, so we got 2 poles for either side of the canvas, no doubt. And we've got, yes, the cot canvas. There we are, just like that. And that thing, it's got a little zip on it. I'm guessing either like a mini dry bag, or maybe you could use that as a pillow if you put soft stuff in there. Anyway, who cares about that? Okay, so this is our underside, and you've got this sleeved seam all the way through. So I reckon if we fold that there hole all the way along either side, and then we can just pull that tight and fold that in that corner. So we'll rinse and repeat for the other side. Okay, that's what we've got so far. Now for the legs. One side has got this releasing ratchet and the other side hasn't. We've got these little hooks on them too. So I'm gonna have it upright like that. Get that hooked on there, I do believe. And then if I push down, they said push down till it clicks. Oh, that was a bit of a click. That was definitely a click. Okay, cool. So, rinse and repeat. As tight as a drum. Cool. Looks pretty good. Oh, here in Cornwall we have these plants here. It's called gorse. It's incredibly prickly. Whatever you do not want that underneath your butt, even if you're raised up off the floor. Do you reckon she'll take my bulk? Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that'll do it. Got a perfect rocky kitchen to set up on. Fantastic. So I've got my tent set up, I've got my cot set up, which already feels like it's going to be mega comfortable. It's a nice springiness to it. It's quite firm, which is good. Even though I'm about 180 pounds, I'm still not sagging in the middle, so there's plenty of tension on that canvas. That's great. I won't prickle my butt on some thistles tonight. I'm going to get out my cooking stuff, and just before I set up my sleeping bag and my air mattress and things like that and finish off the inside of the tent, I'm going to try the Trangia 27 stove. Get the kettle on before we start cooking. Okay, so here we are. The Trangia 27 cook set. I've not even taken it out of its box yet. So I've never used Trangia before, but I know it's pretty much like an industry standard. It's supposed to be incredibly high quality, Swedish made. They've been making stuff for decades and decades. So that is rather a neat little package. It's all aluminium. Quick look at the picture. Alright, I reckon I know how to set that up. How hard can it be? Famous last words. So that is our frying pan. In the pot we've got aluminium handle for gripping the hot stuff. We've got a very cute little kettle in there. What a beauty. Look at that little thing. Very old-fashioned looking. I'm having trouble saying aluminium tonight. Bare aluminium finish. We got a nuclear yellow bag with a bunch of warnings on it about how dangerous fire is. Ah, that's our burner. Looks like we've got a little simmer setting there for if you want less heat intensity. whack that over the top of your burner. It's just a little pot. Just fill that thing up full of alcohol, set fire to it, whack it in the housing, and cook your food. So I checked out some reviews, and this stuff comes highly rated, so we'll try it out tonight. It's eco fuel. It's just 96.6% bioethanol. Okay for indoor and outdoor use, got clean burning, high purity, eco-friendly, all that good stuff. As long as it burns. If it don't cook my dinner, I won't be very happy. Okay, so we've got a saucepan. We've got another saucepan with a bit of stuff in there. Okay, extra flavour. And this, I believe, I'll take my little strap off there. That's a nice little strap with it. With a little grip thing. Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. I like that. Whack that over there. So, we've got the base. Then I believe we pop our stove in there. We then whack this on top. It's got little slots on the side of it, so yeah, that just slides in and then that's connected now. Brilliant. Little clips, so I'm guessing once that's lit, yeah, pop whatever you want on there. Does that come out for the frying pan setting or not? Or does that stay in? Oh yeah, look at that. What a beautifully made bit of kit. Stunning. Oh, I can't wait to use it. Excellent. Let's start off though with filling the little stove with the fuel and seeing how efficiently it boils. I'm going to whack a large amount of water in there because I'm going to need it for cooking and all the rest of it anyway. Let's get this little stove set up on the level and see if she can cook me dinner. Now the one thing that the instructions did say about the Trangia is because it burns this ethanol fuel, once you light it, it's actually quite hard to visually tell whether it's lit or not. The flame in certain angles can almost be invisible. So what you need to do is just very carefully put your hand over the top a fair distance away to see if you can feel any heat. Leave that thing well out the way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top off, light it, and then pop the top back on. I reckon that's probably the safest way of doing it. There's rather a lot of fuel in there. Can actually hear it. Yeah, that's lit. It is almost entirely invisible, so that's a good warning there. Can you hear it spurting away? You get a little glimpse of a little yellow flame here and there. It's good and bad points, isn't it? Because my favourite stove is the MSR Dragonfly. You have ultimate control over whether you simmer, and it runs off of petrol, it runs off of spirit. It's a really awesome stove and it's completely bomb-proof. But the one downside about it is super noisy, especially making these videos. I've found as I've been making them that it's best for me to tell you what I'm going to do before I fire up the stove, because the second it's on, it's whereas this thing is quiet as a mouse. Okay, so that's burning lovely. I'm not going to put my simmer cap on yet. I'm just going to leave it full whack because I want to see how efficiently it boils. This, I mean, this kettle is really full as well of water. So I'm just going to pop that on there and we'll see how long it takes. In the meantime, we can start prepping dinner. Dinner is going to be sensational tonight. I have got, drum roll please, a couple of glorious looking lamb steaks. In my food and veggie bag, I've got some potatoes, boil them up, mash them up to make creamy mashed potato. I've got an onion which I'm going to fry in the frying pan, make caramelized onions, and I've also got some secret ingredients for a nice rich mint gravy recipe. So the menu tonight is going to be pan-seared lamb steaks with rosemary and garlic, with creamy mashed potato, crispy fried onions, and minted rich lamb gravy. I can't wait. You better work, buddy, else I'll be telling the Swedes. Oi, sort your stoves out. It's been about 4 minutes now, and by the sounds of it, our little aluminium kettle is almost there at boiling. Got some nice bubbles going on there, which is fantastic. What a little beauty. Oh, there's that flame now. Okay, cool. I'm going to put that over there for a minute while she's still hot and get peeling these spuds. I've got a new pocket knife as well. Love pocket knives. This is an Opinel, which is French made. It's a very elegant looking thing, isn't it? Look at that, eh? I'm going to keep this one for cooking. Keep it clean. So right, let's go peeling these potatoes. So we've got our spuds peeled. Let's get one of these saucepans on the Trangia. Let's get our little cute aluminium kettle's boiling water in there. Very nice. I'm going to keep a little bit back. Probably need some more later. Finally chop up these spuds into cubes. That is a beautiful knife. It's gorgeous. It's almost like a filleting knife, isn't it? Be good to take fishing. I want these potatoes to cook relatively quickly instead of stewing them, so I'm just dicing them at the moment into literally little dice-sized chunks. This is so nice and peaceful. I've been looking forward to this for ages. That weather has been rotten, been busy. It's all good though. Very happy at the moment. It's wonderful. Well, it's probably not intended for that, but it might work. I've got quite a big saucepan full of water there, so I want to help it boil, keep as much of the heat in as possible. Next up, just going to dice this onion. Just prepping some fresh garlic a minute. I've sliced up my onion, and I believe my potatoes are just about done. I'm going to take my handy little grabber, wipe that off, pop that in there for a moment, cover that up for a moment because I'm not ready. I want to keep my potatoes hot still for when we come to making the mash. Now this thing has probably been going for around 15 to maybe 20 minutes tops, and I filled it up 3/4 of the way full in its little reservoir. It's still got about 1/4 of an inch left in the bottom of it. I'm mega impressed, it's awesome. So it will probably run out during this next stage of the dinner. But I'm just going to pop my saucepan on there. Unfortunately what you can't do with the ethanol stoves is add more ethanol while it's still burning. So you have to completely wait for it to burn out and probably cool as well before you add any more and relight it. Put a little bit of oil in my saucepan. Need to get my onion in there. Oh, sizzling straight away. So I'm going to just soft fry these onions in this saucepan, and then that's going to be the base for my gravy. I went to work today. I only had a ham sandwich because I knew that I would be making a feast tonight. So I'm putting an awful lot of faith in this Trangia for cooking my meal, considering I've been at work for 11 hours running off of a single ham sandwich and bought all of these ingredients. So I have faith. This will be tremendous. Garlic in there, get a little bit out there. It's all good. What is it about onions and garlic? There's just two things in the pan. Smells fantastic. Got some midgies nibbling at me, that's no good. These onions are softening up beautifully. Just going to get them nice and soft so that they lose their crunch. And then I'm going to add some water in there along with our gravy ingredients. It's going to be a real hearty minted onion lamb gravy. It's going to be stunning. Okay, so our onions are beautifully aromatic now. They've softened right up. Okay, so I'm going to get our kettle with the remains of our hot water. Add that to it. Yeah, I will probably need to top up the old fuel, but let's see how far it gets us. It's doing tremendously well so far. Really pleased. So for my gravy, we've got a lamb stock cube, Knorr if you specifically want to know. It's quality stock cube. Just going to break that up into small little chunks so that It dissolves quicker. So 1 lamb stock cube in with the softened onions and garlic. This stock pot is tomato and herb. Has a lovely richness to it. So in that goes too. And because this is a lamb dish, I simply must add my favourite, which is mint jelly. It's sweet, it's minty, it is the perfect partner for lamb. So I'm going to stir some into my gravy for my sauce. I might keep a little bit on the side for the lamb steaks later. We are losing daylight, and unfortunately I don't think we're going to get our sunset either. I'm going to get that off the heat for a minute. It's still going. It's just going to be shy of cooking this entire meal on that first fill up. Yeah, she's just fizzing out. The Trangia boiled the kettle, cooked the potatoes, and cooked our onions and gravy. So I'm mega chuffed that with one fill it did all of that. It burned out just before I put the frying pan on for the lamb, and it's been sitting cooling for about, I don't know, 2-3 minutes. So I'm just going to refill it. Let's get our frying pan on. Bit of oil in the pan. I flicked the little clips out, which is for the frying pan, and it sits in there beautifully. It's so solid, it sits down really, really well. So time for the lamb. We're losing light, so I've brought my floodlight out. So a little bit of onion salt on top of the steaks, straight in our pan. I just want to sear the lamb steaks. So while they're doing that, let's see if we can mash up our potatoes. Still steaming, so they're still hot. It's a good sign. Drain those potatoes, they're going to go straight in my serving bowl. Season them generously with salt. Cracked black pepper, which I've stored in a drill bit case. I love peppery mash, so I use loads of it. And in here is a mixture of whole milk and a bit of mayonnaise. You may think it's wrong, but don't knock it till you try it. This lamb smells fantastic. Oh man. I reckon that's just about ready too. Give our gravy a little tickle on the heat. Get it bubbling, and then away we go. Get a bit of that mint jelly on the side. Here we go. Oh man. Look at that onion gravy. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is just outrageous camping food. We've got our lamb steaks, we've got it swimming in our delicious lamb minted onion gravy with our creamy mashed potato. I gotta get stuck in. I am starving. Whoa, look at that. Whoa, yeah. Oh yeah. Pink in the middle. Best way to eat lamb. Well, thank you, Sweden, for your excellent stove. It's given me a tremendous meal tonight. What a joy. I had a load of fun doing it. I'm going to get myself more comfortable. Watch my little flame here and eat my dinner. Oh, I'm stuffed. What a gorgeous meal that was. I ate too much though, man. 2 lamb steaks and 1.5 potatoes is a fair old feat, even for a man of my stature. But it'll help me sleep. So I've got some housekeeping to do now. I need to wash out my stove and all the rest of it. But I kind of miss the company of that little fire. So I've got a little fold out fire pit with me as well. I figure, why not light that bad boy?
to keep me company while I clear up. Great thing about having all of these slates everywhere as well is it's a perfect base for a little mini fire pit. Excellent. Pop that in there like that. Little tray that goes in the bottom. This is another Amazon purchase. You can unfold the grill for the top if you want to do some barbecuing, but nothing could be further from my mind right now. I'm fully satiated. Let's get some wood and get a little fire for company. It's going to be so nice. Let's see if we can have a play getting this thing up and working. I still got from the last camping video some of Tim's fire starters. Let's see if they work as good this time. Just going to feather it up just a little bit. Ah, look at that. That's better. Ha ha ha. There we go. Come on, baby. God, just fire is just so comforting, isn't it? It's magic. I love it. Even if the smoke goes straight in your eyes. It's a beautifully peaceful night. I've done all of my dishes, done my housekeeping, everything's nice and clean and tidy. And I'm just about to make the inside of my teepee tent a little bit more comfortable. So come on in, check it out. Got my air mat inflated, placed on my cot, lines up perfectly, width and length. And another cool little bonus feature I've found is underneath the cot, it's got a little elastic attached to the underside, which you can wrap around, and that's going to keep your air mat right where you need it to be instead of falling off the side. One up top too, just like that. Oh, I tell you what, I bet this is going to be proper comfy. Oh yeah. Oh, that is going to be nice. Ooh. I tell you what, one little piece of advice for anybody nervous about going camping. If you're going to plan an outing, make sure obviously it's going to be somewhere safe. If you've got any friends with land and you're a bit nervous about wild camping initially, ask them to see if you could just pitch up a tent, even if it's in their garden, you know. As long as it gets you out and doing it, it's great. But if you are nervous, wild camping especially, then a good bit of advice is to do it when you're really tired, because then you'll kind of sleep better. If you're exhausted, you're just going to like pass out, and the tiniest little noise isn't going to bother you or wake you up in the night and get you all freaked out and stuff. So I'm certainly going to sleep well tonight. I've not got any worries about that. This quarry is pretty cool though, because it's been abandoned for so long. Wildlife is everywhere. I was scouring it earlier today, having a mooch around. Saw foxes, there was deer in the morning, so I'm expecting to get a few noises in the night of some sniffling animals, especially as I cooked up some pretty delicious smelling lamb, but we will see what occurs. I've got some of Cornwall's finest if you're a fan of cider. This is Rattler from Healy's Cider Farm, and it is particularly good. Well, cheers everybody to your good health. Oh, so nice. I'm going to sit here and watch the fire for a little bit, and I think I'm going to listen to a little bit of one of my favourite podcasts, which is the Honeydew. Shout out to Ryan Sickler on the Honeydew podcast. Been addicted to those. Fantastic. I love it.
The Honeydew with Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the Honeydew, y'all. We're over here doing it in the brand new Night Pass Studios. I am Ryan Sickler, RyanSickler.com, Ryan Sickler on all your social media.
It's an absolutely beautiful night. Just been warming myself by the fire, listening to my podcasts. Finished my cider. It was very nice. Very content with my meal. Something incredibly therapeutic about camping and being out in the wilderness. It's awesome. Got the big open sky above me, all the stars. You just look up and you just get absolutely lost in it. It is crazy, the fact that we are so tiny and it just keeps on going and going and going. Oh, well, there we are. I am shattered. I gotta get some sleep. I didn't bother with putting any mat down, which is actually rather nice. Sleeping amongst all the heathers and all of the gorse. It's pretty cool. Well, let's see how we do tonight. I'll catch you guys in the morning. Good night. Good morning. Well, I slept really well, a little bit too well if anything. It's 9:30. I don't usually sleep this long when I've got the kids at home. The camp cot I was really impressed with. That was very, very comfortable. However, it didn't really work that well with the sleeping mat. It kept on falling off, so I eventually just halfway through the night rolled up the sleeping mat and just slept on this, but this was perfectly fine. I'm going to bust this thing out again for a camp, without a doubt. I definitely need some coffee. I am feeling groggy after that one cider last night. Thank you, mid-30s. And gonna grab a little bit of breakfast and then pack up ready to go. Gotta see them kids. So I had a really nice night's sleep, but one really strange thing all night that I was trying to figure out was just this sound. And it was almost like there was a plane going overhead, like a jet engine, or severe wind, or maybe even a waterfall, but it had like a rhythmic pattern to it, which really set it apart. So if it were a plane, it would have faded away as the plane would have flown over. If it were a waterfall, it wouldn't have had such like a rhythm to it, and I was racking my brains what on earth that could be, and I think I've figured it out now. Just behind me over there, so they've got wind turbines behind. That is 100% what that noise must have been. It was kind of like a heartbeat. It was going whoosh, 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 all night long. I couldn't figure that out last night. Obviously it was pitch black, couldn't see him, but that's what it must have been, so mystery solved. Right then, I got most of my gear packed up. It is definitely time for a little bit of breakfast and a little bit of coffee. Let's get our Trangia set up and get some water boiling. It's lit. It's totally invisible, you could just hear it popping away. Oh yeah, ferro rod's the way to go. Excellent. Put enough water in there for a couple of cups of coffee today. I feel I may need it. I very, very rarely have an alcoholic beverage, whether it be cider or a beer. But I used to be alright after, I don't know, 2 or 3 beers in my 20s. Now, I have one cider, next morning I'm like, it's not very fair that. Anyway, while that's boiling, breakfast today is going to be a little English classic of crumpets. Got a couple of crumpets here. We're going to see if I can heat them up and toast them a bit in the frying pan. And then give it a little bit of blasphemy by melting some cheese on the top. Cheesy crumpets. Oh yeah. Absolute filth. Got our kettle boiling. Let's pack down our cot. Got these little mini ratchets on our feet. So take the weight off of it, pull the ratchet up, and then off it comes. Twist. Cheers, everyone. So just as a quick summary of last night's camp, the two new bits of gear I tried out was the Trangia 27 cook set and also the Kingcamp sleeping cot. The camping cot was really easy to put together. The size of it is relatively big for what it is. Despite being advertised as being ultralight and compact, I wouldn't call that ultralight and compact. The cot itself is about just over 2 kilo. You really have to choose when you're going camping, what are you going to need? I mean, I would be tempted to go with the sleeping mat. This is more comfortable, but it takes up a lot more room and it's a lot bulkier. The Trangia stove worked absolutely fantastically. It's all contained in this beautifully made aluminium casing. All the little components folding into each other is really cool. For what it does is 2 saucepans and a frying pan. I think its performance across all the different conditions is going to be fantastic. The only downside of it is running time of your flame and your cooking. Bearing in mind I did a pretty extravagant meal last night for a camping meal, and I'm cooking all of my stuff myself. It's not as if I'm bringing out some dry food and adding boiling water to it. If you were doing that on a long 3 or 4 day camp, you wouldn't struggle with this at all. But for cooking extravagant meals as Camp Cookout Adventures does, it ran for about half an hour and then I had to wait for it to cool down before I added more fuel and sparked it up again to finish off the meal. But I can't really call that a con or a gripe. I'm absolutely delighted with it. I love the fact that it's silent while you're cooking. The flame you can barely see, so you've got to be careful about that. Make sure that when you've initially tried to light it, that it has actually caught. I mean, that is just, it does such a lot for such a small little package. I love how it's designed, it goes together brilliantly. Big fan Trangia, great first time for using it, very impressed. That will definitely be coming on a multi-day camp with me. I think I would choose that over anything else, just because of how compact it is, how much it does, and also how quiet it is. So peaceful, so nice. Big deal of what camping is you want a little bit of peace and quiet. I'm going to finish packing everything up and then we're going to load up all of our backpacks and start trudging on out of here. Let's do it! Okay everyone, well, we're all done, we're all packed up. I've had a fantastic night. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode as much as I've enjoyed my camp. We had a tremendous meal. I feel really recharged today after it being so long since the last camp out. I so enjoy this and I'm looking forward to many more outings. Fingers crossed this change in weather stays with us and all of the opportunities will present themselves. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and watching the videos. Please, if you could, subscribe and hit that notification button so that you can stay in touch with all of our adventures to come. Thanks for tuning in everybody, and we'll catch you on the next adventure. Bye!